What's good, y'all? It's Snooki. You don't know how many times it took me to even get that out.
God. Yeah.
Today I wanted to talk about a topic that's currently being spearheaded by Diddy at the moment, and that is R&B dead? Now, if you're anything like me and you're a person that tends to shy away from social media for a few days at a time, and you haven't heard Diddy making the claim that in today's climate of music, R&B as we know it is dead.
R&B is motherfucking dead as of right now.
Honestly, when this topic was floating around, I didn't find anything interesting or shocking about what Diddy said. But I will say what threw me off was that though a lot of people agree with Diddy's notion collectively, he also got a great amount of pushback coming from the R&B community, which definitely confused me a little bit because this is not nothing new. Like, this has been an ongoing narrative for at least the past decade. But you know what? I had to step back and realize, wait, this is how this game goes. The loudest voice makes the most noise. So because Diddy was the one that made these claims, now everyone wants to act so surprised like this is some new or controversial take? No. Now, I'm a person that always thought that anybody that grew up on or currently listens to older R&B artists like Mary J. Blige, Erykah Badu, Keith Sweat, Mariah Carey, Marvin Gaye can clearly tell you that there's been a drastic change in the genre of R&B from when it was birthed 80 years ago. Now, does change mean that something is necessarily better or worse? I feel like in some cases, but I also feel like that it always comes back to personal preference. People who grew up in the 80s, you can't tell them that Anita Baker isn't the best singer. The same goes for the 90s. Like, it's gonna be really hard to convince someone who was really outside during those years that anybody is better than Mary J. Blige. Like, it's just that simple. So I feel like just that alone draws parallel between R&B and hip hop. I noticed that most people are glued to whatever era they consider golden in these genres. And always, it usually comes back to whatever era they grew up in. Just like you can't tell a nigga that was 18 on the East Coast in 1994 that Biggie wasn't the best rapper. It just wasn't possible. Now that that's out the way, I want to get to the reasons why I feel like R&B isn't necessarily the same as it used to be. And I don't think I can start anywhere else other than artist development. There is no more artist development within the R&B genre anymore. Well, hip hop too. Nobody is laying the groundwork or rolling out the red carpet for these artists anymore. Like, it seems like it's just a free for all at this point, which I think is a gift and a curse for both the artist and the genre, because yeah, it's great to be able to build your brand the exact way you want. Yeah, it's fantastic to not have someone looking over your shoulder every few seconds as a new artist. That newfound independence in music, I feel, is great for the artist to be free creatively. But I also think that generated a new era of artists that, in my opinion, have no specific direction of where they want to take their music, so they're just blending in with what's hot. I think Jermaine Dupri said it best. Like, a lot of artists need those pillars behind them in order to mold them into an artist that has their own specific style. And by pillars, I mean what Timbaland was for Aaliyah and Missy Elliott, what Jermaine Dupri was for Escape and Usher, what Andre Harrell was for a Diddy, who potentially went on to create a powerhouse of a label that is Bad Boy Records. I think a lot of artists nowadays look at having a mentor as a hindrance on their career rather than it being an asset and being someone who can advise and guide them through the industry. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we need those exact individuals like a Diddy or Timbaland, because we gotta admit, you know, them niggas is old. You know what I'm saying? It's not the early 2000s anymore. But I do think R&B is missing those young guns that want to be the next L.A. Reid, that want to be the next Clarence Avant, that want to be the next Barry Gordy. You know, where the fuck are y'all? Because without that structure behind a lot of these artists that are in need of some polishing and coddling around their sound, their overall image, everyone's going to sound the exact same, because typically artists, well, especially now, look to see what's hot and not what's next. Like, just sit back and think about how many artists you've seen come out the gate with something so special, and instead of grinding that distinct sound out, they end up conforming to whatever the industry is pushing out at the moment in order to gain notoriety quicker. That's kind of why I feel autotune has become so prevalent in the world of singing now, because all these executives are following the trend of signing these quote-unquote R&B artists and aren't even making sure they have the main component that makes an R&B act, a voice. Like what the fuck? Well, all these labels prioritizing the outside, which is just appeal, over the internal, which is the story and actual talent. You get a lot of mid-grade music out here. Like, these niggas is lazy. Hey man, you want a quick lick? Just do music, man. You just gotta look good at this point. I just remember when R&B used to be as simple as, hey, tell the audience your story, and based off the product you've provided as far as music is concerned, they'll tell you what your image is and you run with it. That's what Alicia Keys did. And now more than ever, you got all this forced product on the listeners rather than us picking who the fuck we think is the best. Like, let us pick, because these people you putting up here can't sing. At this point, I think being attached to a label is more important than even back in the 90s or early 2000s as an R&B act, because it's so much harder to stand out independently with the strength of these corporations hovering over your head when it comes to things like playlisting and overall branding. Any R&B artist you see at the top of any chart, 9 times out of 10 is usually signed by a big corporation. And you know what that means. You see them first, no matter what. It doesn't even matter how good this person's music is down here. You wanna know why? Because it's being overshadowed by the marketing dollars of a label attached to this trash nigga up here. That's one of the reasons y'all see me give so much credit to Brent Faiyaz, who's been able to even be recognized as a top R&B act. And he did it all on his own merit. Like, he literally showed the blueprint and is a pure example of what it takes to grind from the ground up as an independent artist in this era of music without sacrificing the integrity of your sound at all. Just don't see that happen often with artists now, especially the ones that are in a genre that isn't necessarily mainstream anymore. Because when you really look at what the general masses consider R&B now, it's a fusion between hip hop, pop, and R&B. Like, R&B's last, actually. Like, there's not much traditional R&B being pushed to the forefront. Like, don't get it fucked up. Like, don't get me fucked up at all. There's a lot of talented artists out here, but those artists don't necessarily fit the sexy aesthetic that the labels want. Just look at an artist like, let's say, SZA. I love how she's been able to bend and shape shift her sound with also being the same person through the content of her music. But I think the most important thing people should understand, that the reason she got popular was because she was so authentic, from her voice to her story, not her looks. No, even though SZA looked good, it wasn't because of that. Not at that time. The topics she sung about on her last album, Control, alone was so relatable to a lot of women. And trust me, I know. They told me. Tiana Taylor, another artist that I feel the same way about. The rawness in her music, that feeling that R&B is supposed to give you. Like, it's just there. And at a point where it seems like people are scared to be vulnerable in music, you know, I don't know when the fuck that started, but it needs to stop. But at that point, it's just great to have artists to confide in when you're going through similar events in your life. The reason I think people like Diddy and others are saying that R&B is dead is because it is getting harder and harder to find those hidden gems amongst all the chaos that's going around in the genre. Like, I know this isn't R&B that I'm about to speak on, but I feel like City Girls plays a big part in women not singing like they used to. I don't care. Like, yeah, women used to sing about how much they love or hate a nigga, but it wasn't because he didn't get you the proper color Birkin you wanted. The fuck? Now, as we all know, hip hop transcends and influences all genres, as R&B included. So I feel like that's a fair point on my end. And Diddy, shut up. Because you're the main one supporting this movement right now. You're the main one supporting this shit. Fuck out of here. Like, talking about some R&B ain't the same. My main issue with this type of music is that it's spilling over into a genre that was made for lovemaking, submission, honesty, pain. There was so much passion surrounding the making of this music because it was so personal. But now I feel like it's slowly turning into a rinse and repeat of the same content. We've gotten to a point in the genre where even before the song finishes, we know how the story ends. Like, that's boring. Now, the good thing is that because I'm a person that likes to see the good in things, you know, I don't just see the negative, but it's not anything that's so unimpressive that you can't fix. You know what I'm saying? But I do agree with Diddy on this point. We need that overall feeling back. Like, we need that. You know what I'm saying? I'm young as hell and I'm saying I need it. I ain't even been through that much shit. R&B artists, if y'all listening, I know I'm nobody, but if y'all listening, we need that feeling back. We just need it, because I feel like we're slowly losing the genre that we all know and love. I mean, the music don't even have the same bop to it no more. Fuck the lyrics. Like, you can't even do that no more. But to go so far to say that it's dead, Diddy, I ain't with you on that. You know what I'm saying? It might be on life support, but it ain't dead, nigga. It ain't dead. I feel like it's impossible Nah, fuck that. I feel like it would be disingenuous of me to say that R&B is dead with artists like her, Snow Allegra, Alex Isley, Jasmine Sullivan, Ari Lennox. Like, I feel like I would be doing them a disservice if I said that R&B is dead. Like it's not dead. Now, I'm gonna be honest. You notice I ain't named no niggas. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's been going on with the males out here. Y'all been slacking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all need y'all heart broke or something, but something need to happen to y'all niggas. Because y'all, I don't know, y'all non-existent. I guess a few out here, but it's just what I said, a few. Now, before I check out, because I don't talk about R&B as much as I would like to on this channel, I'm about to drop a few albums for y'all that I've been listening to this year. You know what I'm saying? It's some shit out here. Don't give me, it's some shit. Kalani's Blue Water Road, Raven Lene Hypnos, Lucky Day Candy Drip, Tink Pillow Talk. Damn, that shit just came out and I've been playing that shit a lot. I don't know what else word to use, but Brent Faiyaz, Wasteland, Giveon, Give or Take, Mary J. Blige, Legend, Good Morning Gorgeous, she's still gorgeous. Umi, Forest in the City, beautiful album. And Sam Henshaw, Untidy Soul. That's a little under the radar joint for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all don't know nothing about that. And don't even fake like you do. As y'all know, I also love Beyonce's Renaissance and The Weeknd Dawn FM, but I don't really consider those R&B because there's so many genres intertwined with those albums. All my R&B lovers, put down in the comments how y'all feel about this narrative that's been going around, pushed by the one and only Diddy, that R&B is dead. You know, interested to hear y'all thoughts. You know, I'm always interested. I'm gonna be right there with y'all. I just want to know, why now, Diddy? Like, do Puffy got an R&B album dropping soon or something? Cause like this shit seem random as fuck. But hey man, it's Snoopy. You know the motto. If you like the video, like the video. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. Always gotta say that twice. I'm not playing. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all in the next video. I ain't gonna be gone for too long. You know I keep right on my promises sometimes. I'm gone. Yee.